Let's take a step back and look at the big picture. Why are we here? What's the real purpose behind all the checklists, handwashing routines, and safety drills? As an early care and education professional, your job is about so much more than just meeting requirements. Your job is to prevent injuries and prevent the spread of infectious disease. That's the heart of everything in this module. Let's break that down. Preventing injuries means keeping children safe from harm, not just the big things like broken bones or emergency evacuations, but the everyday things too. Slipping on a wet floor. Falling off playground equipment. Touching a hot surface. Getting into unsafe materials. When we're alert, proactive, and consistent with safety routines, we drastically reduce these risks. Your vigilance makes a real difference. Every time you close a baby gate, lock up a cleaning product, or calmly guide a child away from danger, you're doing injury prevention. That's huge. Then we have the second big picture goal, preventing the spread of disease. Now more than ever, we understand how quickly illness can move through a classroom. Coughing, sneezing, unwashed hands, shared toys that aren't sanitized. Children, especially infants and toddlers, explore the world with their mouths, and they often can't tell us when they're not feeling well. That's why you become the first line of defense. Simple steps like wiping down surfaces, sanitizing toys, and following diapering procedures keep kids healthy and families happy. But even more than that, they help stop serious illnesses from spreading. Now let's talk about where all of these expectations come from. You'll often hear about regulations and professional standards. What's the difference? Stop sign regulations are the minimum requirements, the laws and policies you are legally obligated to follow. These are issued by the state. Every licensed child care provider in Kentucky must meet these standards. Think of regulations as your foundation, the non-negotiable, must-do items. They include things like ratios, supervision rules, illness exclusion policies, and sanitation guidelines. On the other hand, white heavy checkmark professional standards go a step further. These reflect high-quality practices developed by experts in the field of early childhood education. Organizations like the National Association for the Education of Young Children, NAUIC, set these standards. So do tools like the Early Childhood Environment Rating Scale, also known as ERS, or the Child Development Associate, CDA, competency standards. These professional frameworks guide excellence. They help us ask not just, am I doing the minimum, but am I doing what's best for the children in my care? On page HSS4 in your handout, you'll find a helpful chart outlining both regulations and professional standards so you can see how they align and where you might grow. Don't skip it. It's a great way to see where your current practices stand and what you might want to work toward. So to summarize, backhand index pointing right, you're here to prevent injuries and prevent disease. Backhand index pointing right, you'll do that by learning about and following both state regulations and respected professional standards. It may sound like a lot, but you're not alone. This orientation is here to guide you, step by step, so that you can keep children safe, support healthy habits, and create a space where everyone can thrive. Let's keep going, because what you learn in this section could quite literally save a life. Let's talk about one of the most important responsibilities you have as an early care and education professional: preventing injuries. Children are naturally curious. They climb, they crawl, they grab, they explore. That curiosity is beautiful, and it's developmentally appropriate, but it also means that injuries can happen quickly when supervision or safety measures are lacking. Let's walk through the 6 major ways you can help prevent injuries in your classroom or care setting. First, supervision. Supervision is not just being present in the room. It's being attentive. It's knowing where every child is, what they're doing, and what's going on around them at all times. A child can choke in seconds. A toddler can climb a shelf in the blink of an eye. A preschooler can wander toward a door that wasn't fully latched. That's why we talk about active supervision, meaning you're scanning, interacting, and constantly assessing what's happening. Are you close enough to intervene? Can you see each child's face and hands? Are you positioned so no one is behind you? If you need to step away even briefly, you must ask another staff member to take over. Never leave a group unsupervised, even for a moment. Second, safety hazards. Not all injuries come from obvious dangers. A frayed rug, a wobbly shelf, a toy left in the middle of the walkway, these can all lead to trips, bumps, or worse. Do daily safety checks. Check the furniture, door latches, outlets, electrical cords, bottle caps, the playground fence, even the condition of the toys. Ask yourself, is there anything here that could hurt a child, even by accident? Children love to test limits. If a chair can be climbed, it will be. If a button can be pushed, someone will push it. Your job is to think ahead, eliminate hazards, and set up the space to minimize risk. Third, medication. This one is critical. You cannot give a child medication unless you have the proper written authorization. And that medication must be labeled, stored securely, and administered exactly according to the directions. Giving the wrong dose, or giving it to the wrong child, can have life-threatening consequences. Always double-check. The child's name. The medication name. The dosage. The time. The method of administration. When in doubt, stop and clarify. It's better to delay than to guess. Fourth, allergies. Some children have severe allergies to foods, insects, medications, or materials. You may be surprised how many products, even things like lotion, art supplies, or snack crumbs, can trigger a reaction. Make sure you know who has allergies in your group, what the allergy is, what symptoms to watch for, where emergency medication, like an EpiPen, is stored, what your role is in responding. If you're not sure about something, like a snack from home, don't risk it. Always read ingredient labels, communicate with families, and follow your center's allergy management plan. Fifth, emergency situations. Emergencies don't wait until you're ready. Fire, severe weather, lockdowns, missing children, these events are rare, but they are real, and you must be prepared. Know your center's emergency procedures. Practice drills with the children, not just because it's required, but because muscle memory saves lives. Know where your emergency contact lists are. Keep your phone charged and ready, and always keep your own stress in check. Kids look to you during emergencies, and your calm response can help them stay calm too. Sixth, CPR and first aid training. The Division of Child Care requires all programs to ensure that staff are trained in first aid and CPR. This course introduces you to those topics, but you'll still need to complete a hands-on certification with a licensed provider. This training is not just about a card on your file, it's about knowing what to do when a child is choking, stops breathing, or becomes unconscious. That moment might never come, but if it does, you need to be ready. The actions you take in those first minutes could save a life. So here's the bottom line: injuries can be prevented. But only if we stay alert, communicate clearly, and follow through with the practices we're learning today. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be prepared. In the next slides, we'll walk through real-life examples and interactive scenarios to help you think like a safety pro. Let's dive in. Let's talk about one of the most powerful tools you have to keep children safe: supervision. We're not just talking about being in the same room with children, we're talking about close, active, and intentional supervision. That means using your eyes, ears, and feet to stay alert and involved. It's a full-body job. Let's start with your eyes. The foundation of good supervision is knowing where children are, not just generally, but specifically. Who's at the sensory table? Who's near the shelves? Is anyone too close to the door or the heater? When we say know where children are, we mean they should be within your line of sight, not hidden behind shelves or around corners. A great habit to build is what we call looking up and out. It's easy to get absorbed when you're helping a child put together a puzzle or comforting a little one, but the key is to frequently shift your gaze outward. What's happening across the room while I'm engaged here? Being able to scan the entire space regularly helps you anticipate problems before they escalate. Next, let's talk about positioning. Where you stand or sit in a room really matters. Are you facing the active play area? Are your back and shoulders blocking your view? Let's say you're in the block area with 2 toddlers. If your back is turned to dramatic play, you could easily miss a struggle over dress-up clothes. So always ask yourself, can I see the majority of the group from where I'm sitting or standing? Now let's bring in your feet. Even if you have a good vantage point, you can't supervise effectively from one spot. Children move, so you should too. Circulating throughout the room allows you to stay connected, redirect behaviors early, and prevent safety issues from developing. As you move, you're not just watching, you're also listening. That brings us to your ears. You may hear the volume rise in one corner or notice silence in another. Both are cues that something might be going on. A child screaming in excitement, or a child suddenly going quiet, can signal that it's time to check in. You want to be close enough to hear voices, catch coughs or cries, and step in if something feels off. The goal is to be close enough to intervene. For example, let's say a child starts climbing a bookshelf. If you're across the room and blocked by a group activity, you might not get there fast enough. But if you're near, you can gently intervene before it becomes dangerous. You also need to establish and reinforce safety rules in the moment. If a child is about to throw a toy, your proximity helps you say, "Let's put that in the bin instead," before someone gets hurt. This kind of in-the-moment redirection only works when you're actively engaged and nearby. Now let's talk about ratios. The more children you are supervising, the harder it is to keep eyes and ears on everyone. That's why Kentucky requires specific staff-to-child ratios based on age. You can find those ratios listed in Appendix A on page 41 of your handout packet. Take some time to review them. They're not just guidelines, they're licensing requirements. And here's something important, ratios apply at all times. Not just during circle time or playtime, but throughout the entire day, including early morning drop-offs and late afternoon pickups. In fact, those transition times are when injuries are most likely to occur. It's easy to lose focus when children are coming and going, but those moments require your full attention. And here's a helpful tip for those of you in mixed-age classrooms. If you're caring for children of different ages at once, the required ratio is based on the youngest child in the group. So if you're watching a 9-month-old and 2 3-year-olds, the infant ratio applies, not the preschool one. Lastly, a quick reminder on scope and range. For infants, toddlers, and preschoolers, you must be within both vision and hearing range, always. For school-age children, it's okay to be within either vision or hearing range, but not out of both. So in summary, use your eyes to scan. Use your feet to move. Use your ears to listen. And use your judgment to stay close, stay aware, and stay present. Supervision is not just about compliance. It's about connection, knowing your group well enough to sense when something's not right, and stepping in with care. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be purposeful.